A while back I showed you that I'm going to do some stationery for a relaunch, and I'm going to show you everything because right now it's all available. First thing you can buy is the Bronte Sisters mug, which I am desperately in love with. And then my favorite product of them, you can even see it on screen, is that poster. That poster I loved so much when I bought it. I do have a whole video on the poster, I will link that down below, but I have them here. Also again, limited availability of these. I have 10 for the shop. I will keep them in here for now to keep them nice and safe, but you can see it in the background. And then of course Bookishly is very well known for their gorgeous cards. So let's open them. I was most excited for their new Jane Austen launch card. This is the pack of cards. You can buy them per 6. So for every novel from Jane Austen we have Emma, Mansfield Park, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Northanger Abbey, finally of course Persuasion. I think Persuasion was the only design they already had, and all the other designs I think are new. So these are now available in my shop. I do have quite a big stack of these because I have the feeling that people are really going to like them, or that they will probably like it as much as I like them. I have 2 more sets. One set is this one they have had for a while, but I really like it. It's the Landmark set, The Wizard of Oz, Mordor, Narnia. We have Neverland, so Peter Pan. Personal favorite is Pemberley from Pride and Prejudice, or I'm not entirely sure, Wonderland from Alice in Wonderland. I don't know which one is my favorite, but I really like the designs of these ones. And then the last ones are the Shakespeare ones, which I just again am in love with the designs. We have The Tempest. One that I just love is A Midsummer Night's Dream. Love both the play and the card. As You Like It. Hamlet. This one is so pretty as well. And Romeo and Juliet. So this is going to be the restock. Everything is available at milena's bookshop.nl. I'm really excited to share and spread the joy. Hi, it's Monday. Welcome to this vlog. I've been having a bit of a shit time last week. Just overall feeling stressed and overwhelmed with just things happening in different areas of my life. Trying to cope. So I thought I would unpack the books that I have packed on my shelves for every month, and I hadn't started that yet, but I know that most of the books that are packed there are kind of comfort reads, something to look forward to every month. And I unpacked January, and that was The Bear and The Nightingale by Katerhine Arden, which was also my winter TBR for a good reason, because most of this book is set in winter. It is a fictional, historical, fantastical version of Russia. The reason I say Russia and not another country where it could be cold is the names, because reading the names is like reading Anna Karenina. Everyone has different versions of their names, which in Anna Karenina I could appreciate because I was willing to do the work. In this book, not so much, because it took me a while to understand that 2 names were the same person. Oh, it also says in a village off the edge of the wilderness of northern Russia. But it's definitely fantastical in a myth kind of way. The main character is a young girl who in the beginning of the book follow her mother giving birth to her. And then right now I am on page, like I'm exactly in the middle, I'm on page 164. She is in her late teens and her father is kind of trying to decide what to do with her, because she doesn't really behave like a proper lady. She doesn't behave in a way that is promising for her future, and that is of course a big part of that is because she has all these connections. Fantasy wise, this almost feels like a classic in the sense that the world is so well written, feels so accurate and so well thought through, and it almost reads like a literary fiction in parts, which I had not expected from this. I thought this was almost like YA fantasy. I thought this was very like easy to get into, very low-key, but it's quite challenging. I don't really read big chunks of it. Maybe that's because I've had a bit of an overwhelming week. But also, let's appreciate this cover. But this is like Anna Karenina for fantasy readers, and because family also plays a really big part in this book. The really strange family relationships really read like a classic or like in historical fiction. If you are someone who doesn't really read a lot of fantasy but you do read like classics and historical fiction, I think this is a good book to read, but I of course am only halfway through. And for this vlog I think I will also unpack February's book and we can read that together as well, although I do need to read a book club read too. Now that I'm doing the TBR seasonally, I do feel way less pressure of deciding what I'm going to read, so that's really nice. I got 2 packages. The first one that I got a while ago and I saved for you to show you is from a Dutch artist. She's mainly an illustrator, but I think I may want some of her stuff in the shop, so I just ordered privately, just as Milena, not as Milena's Bookshop, to just do like a proof order and to kind of, you know, treat myself, but also see if it would be something that would be great for the shops. A little information on the artist if you would like to see. Her name is Esther Benning. All about coziness and her designs are so beautiful. So I think the thing that I was most looking forward to are her notepads, which I would really like to have in the shop, and when I received it, it was even more beautiful than I thought it would be. You get a notepad, and what is amazing about it is that it's two-sided, and I feel like this could be perfect for just taking notes while you're reading, like ripping it off and putting it in a book and saving it there. The artist has a lot of different illustrations, but this one just spoke to me most. The other thing I got that I would love for the shop are her bookmarks. She currently, I think, only has 3 bookmarks, but every one of them is so beautiful. On the back has a little quote and it feels very nice. It's slightly textured, but not too much. It's still quite smooth, and I'm really glad that I have these. I think she sells most are just cards, and I also love her Christmas cards. But these just are a few cards that I really loved, and again, the quality is so beautiful. Beautiful textured paper that just, it sounds great, it feels great. So this one she had left from Halloween. I just vibes. I love it so much. This one is my favorite because it reminded me of a scene from To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, which is not what you see here, but just the vibe reminded me of one of my favorite chapters of the book, of people just talking around the dinner table. I think I will not necessarily send these. I think I'll use them as wall art. I'm really happy to have like this little proof order, and I think maybe around the fall I would want them in my shop, as she does sell at wholesale. She also has a really lovely Instagram if you like to follow that. I got a really exciting package from one of you guys actually, so Mimi, thank you very much for this. One of you guys sent a big box of books to my PO box with, I think it are in total 10 copies of In the Time of the Butterflies by Julia Alvarez. If you've watched my favorite books of 2022, I think you can see this book in there, because this was one of my favorite classics of that year. This is such a beautiful story of rebellion, of politics, of sisterhood. And Mimi used to borrow these to her students to read, and she no longer needs them, so she asked if I would like them for the shop. And having so many copies of one of my favorite books for the shop is an absolute dream. So you can get this copy if you would like that, or one of the other 10. They're all in great condition. You can get them for a really good price because they were donated. And something that I just love about these editions is that it all has a library card. I will leave these in just for you, so you can put in your own name, which to me, the most fun ever. I will keep one for myself, just as a reminder of the kindness of strangers on the internet, and also because it's one of my favorite books. In the same year I tried to read more from Latin America, and this was definitely my favorite classic I read from there. I'm so grateful to Mimi for sending all these books. Thank you so much for your generosity. It baffled me a little bit. I was so surprised, but also I shouldn't be surprised because I know BookTube is a wonderful community, and I can't wait to share this beautiful book with so many people who would like to shop at my bookstore. So I'm going to put them in this week. You'll see this vlog a little bit later, so once you see this vlog you can purchase that book, that specific book, if you would like to. I will chat to you a little bit more once I have finished this and it is time to unpack February's book. Hi! Oof! This is a rough day appearance-wise for me. Somehow I look white as a ghost, but I think it's the lighting. This morning I sat down and finished The Bear and The Nightingale, and I really liked it. It's not the kind of book that you would race through, it's not that kind of fantasy. To me it felt like the perfect fantasy that kind of reads like a historical fiction. I did love it, and the ending is like the perfect combination between open and closed. There are so many characters that didn't get a resolve and that will probably hopefully get a little bit more in book 2 and 3. Now this edition I bought at a lot of books, which was still the Book Cafe back then. And this is a hardback edition that they don't make anymore. The publisher just stopped publishing these. You can only get them in paperback. But I of course want 2 and 3 in the same one. So yesterday I spent too much time on the internet looking for those editions. I looked at them new, but you cannot find them new anywhere. And then some people were selling them on Vinted for like 200 euros. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And then I found, after quite a long search, a seller on eBooks who had both book 2 and 3 in this edition. So I ordered them. They were of course way more expensive than a normal secondhand book will be, but still quite a good price. If it's gonna be in a reasonable condition, I'm gonna be so pleased. So I do have like more reading plans and unpacking the February book. One book that I need to read before the middle of March is Little by Edward Carey, which is historical fiction, which I'm kind of in a mood for. I was thinking of picking this up, but then also I want to read it the week before the live show, so everything is still fresh in my mind. And then I'm also reading The Well of Loneliness by Radcliffe Hall for a vlog I'm doing about reading banned books. So I think I'll read a little bit more of that. But we can unpack the February book as well, because I do think I remember that this is The Wishing Game, which to me feels like a fast read. It's not that big. And it's nice to have a bit more of a contemporary low-key book when you're also reading a classic. So yes, this is a February and we still have a few days of February when I'm filming this. I kind of don't want to ruin the packing because I used washi tape to pack it so I could reuse it. While this is fun, it also feels incredibly wasteful to pack your books without reusing the paper, so I'm gonna be very careful. Also, I love this wrapping paper, by the way. And I've been working on the shop a little bit this morning. I had to complete an order. They had to do like little checks on my business and everything, because when you buy from a publisher directly, they will connect you to their distributor and they... No, that did not just happen. I was wrapped up in my story. And they need to do like a credit check and stuff. But I'm getting something really exciting additions for the shop, and I'm really happy about that, and which will come later in March. I think it's gonna be a lot of work, so I don't know exactly when, but believe me, you're gonna want to know and you're gonna want to buy them. This is indeed The Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer that I just dropped on the floor. It's still in great condition. I bought this from an independent bookseller in the city where I live, and he usually sells secondhand, but he also sells like slightly damaged new books. So I got this for a really good price quite a while back. A super fluffy paperback. I thought this would be selected for the Goodreads prize, which is the reason why I bought it, because it has so many reviews on Goodreads, so many people read it, so I thought this should be the debut pick, because I did not expect that Wayward would win 2 categories. That's why I bought this, but not because I know what it is about. This is not selling it to me, to be honest. Meg Shaffer's beautiful novel is part Willy Wonka, part magical realism, and wholly moving. This is about a 26-year-old teacher, Lucy. So of course it reminds me of someone. I think this is about her winning a book. It sounds kind of fun. I like a protagonist kind of my own age. Yes, I'm a bit older than 26, but still I like it when protagonists are not too young. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a read and probably look for the audiobook as well, so I have something to listen to as well. Okay, but now I have 3 packages to ship. I'm gonna do that. One's going to the UK, one is going to Germany, and the other one to the US. I think like most of my orders are just from the Netherlands, but we have a few international orders this week, which is so exciting. And I made 2 TikToks, so I should edit those as well. But first, lunch. And if you feel like, Milena, that is wrong, rough looking face for a vlog update, I'm not gonna disagree with you. I've been a little bit sick this week. I have honestly no clue what it is. It's either a flare-up or I have the flu. Like, I never know the difference. It's something like that, but hence the face. But also the reason I've been doing a lot of reading and I've been having a great time because I finished, can you see it? The Wishing Game by Meg Shaffer. I didn't think I would really enjoy this, but I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. So this I would describe as a children's book for adults, which I know will probably put a lot of people off, but for me, I love reading middle grade, and I love this. It's a 4.5 and out of 5 because there were some things in here, I guess some character motivation, some just random things they said that kind of irked me a bit. We have our main character called Lucy, and she is a teacher's assistant, and she in kindergarten, and she wants to adopt one of the boys that has been without his parents for quite a while now, and she fostered him for a bit, but she's not eligible because she doesn't have enough money. And then we follow this guy whose name I should also remember. We have a children's author, very famous children's author, who's called Jack Masterson. I'm not gonna say what role he plays, it's in a description, but you should just find out yourself. Oh yes, we have Hugo, right? Yes, we have Hugo, who is the illustrator of these books. That is the other storyline that we follow. This is not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a romance, but romance is definitely a subplot. I would just call this a contemporary. I saw people shelve it as fantasy and magical realism. Like, none of that. This is all just realism, 100%. It's no fantasy, which I kind of liked because it didn't need the fantasy for the whimsy. This is definitely a whimsical book, and I cried multiple times while reading this book because it knows where to hit all the spots. Of course, it has an orphan in the center front of the story, and of course that is like an easy way to make people cry. I don't want to say too much about this book, but I just really loved it, and I think if you're an adult who reads middle grade, you will really love this as well. I didn't know that men who paint could be so sexy, but I've discovered that through this book. We're so attractive. It's just so fun to read about. I did say some things in this book irked me. I think it was kind of the self-pity of the main character that I found a bit fatiguing and a bit annoying. I think understandable maybe for the phase of her life that she is in, and it did kind of turn around later in the book, but I could have done without. Quite a different book that I just started is Little by Edward Carey. This is our book club read for this month. And we're going to have the live show on the 14th on Mary's channel. You still have enough time to read this, and I would recommend that you do. Because, wow, this is a historical fiction. It's not a loyal fictional retelling of a historical figure. It's taking a lot of liberties because, of course, yesterday I was googling everything about Madame Tussaud, or Marie Tussaud, who is the main character of this book. Right now she's still a child, and I'm on page 142. And we just follow her crazy life that the author does make maybe a little bit more crazy than it actually was, which is perfect for a fiction novel. But she was born in Germany, and now she has moved to Paris with a man that her mother used to work for, and that is Dr. Curtius. And he used to make for a hospital. For a hospital he used to make these wax organs and body parts for students to observe and study, but right now he makes them for just people who want their wax figure, so their head. And it has a lot of really lovely illustrations that are by the author, but in the book it's like if it's the main character's illustrations of the things that she sees. And it's a bit, no, it's not dense, that's not fair. I think it's not the historical fiction that you would fly through. It's very slow and thought through, and the language is beautiful. It is a big one, and I still have quite a way to go, but I know I'm going to love this. I know Lucy finished it and she loved it. I hadn't even heard of this book, even though there is a Madame Tussaud, which of course the wax figures, the museums. There's one in Amsterdam that I visited, I mean when I was a child, but also with Boy on one of our first dates. We went there together, and I never really thought about the origins. Also, I do need coffee to finish this. I never thought about its origins. I think it has a bit of a bad reputation artist-wise, but Madame Tussaud, or Marie Tussaud, she was an artist. And I kind of want to visit it again now, but like maybe on a Monday morning when there are no tourists. I'm gonna have a lot of fun finishing this. But then, of course, because this is the vlog of unboxings and not doing, I mean I'm doing some reading, but it's mainly unboxings. I will have to say that this vlog is like all of February, but this might be one of my favorite ones. So I've been working on this before I opened the shop already. I wanted this in the shop, but it's a bit of an investment, so I wasn't sure when I was going to do it. But right now I had some time on my hands, like shop wise, because things have slowed down for a bit. I'm waiting for things to arrive so I can do another restock. But this I'm really excited about. I'm excited to just share it, and it's because something I made, but also because you can also buy these on Etsy, which will give you a very exact shipping calculation. So if you live outside, especially the European Union, you will get like a doable shipping price, which I'm not yet able to provide in the shop, but you can get it through Etsy because these are just they're not very heavy to ship. And those are bookmarks. Yes, this is the bag. You don't get white bookmarks, but I will show you. This is the bag and they're all the same. I'm just going to show you all of them right now because I'm very excited, and they will be available next week. Okay, so while designing, I had a favorite one, but the way they are printed, I think I have a different favorite one. So my favorite one while designing was this one from Wuthering Heights. So they all have a background and a vintage cover. But yeah, I love Wuthering Heights, of course. And then I also really love the Little Women one, especially the vintage cover. I really enjoy. And then we have Jane Eyre, which I also really enjoy. But I think printed wise, this is my favorite because of the vibrant colors. And this is Mrs. Dalloway. And the cover is the original cover designed by Vanessa Bell, who was Virginia Woolf's sister. And then on the background you get a very light yellow and a logo. And the paper, I don't know if you can see, but it's a really high quality textured paper. Don't know if it shows on the camera the type of paper that it is. I hope so, because that was really important to me, that I got a high quality paper, and I really like textured paper. I just really, that you can hear it, I think, from ASMR, but I just really love the way it feels. I have very few of these because of course it's very expensive to get them. If they sell well, I will get them again at some point, but I already got some people wanting a whole set, so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to actually sell when they relaunch. So if you would like these, especially if you would like them through Etsy, then I wouldn't wait too long to order them next week. But yeah, I think that's gonna be the vlog for this week. I'm sorry it was a bit of a messy vlog, but life is sometimes a little bit messy. So I'm gonna finish my coffee and then I will see you next week for, I think just an overview of my reading, but also in March we're gonna do another TBR awards, which I'm very excited about. For now, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely day or evening, and I hope to see you in another video. Doei!